So great, I'm sitting around and I'm handing out the mail again, and that dog is chasing me all the time. So what's happening from there?
So the next call, this is something different, and I do this every time. The next call I call back will not be a scheduled call. It will not be an appointment call, and it won't mention the business or the things I've just given to them.
So you absolutely not say, get back to me when you read through this material, let's schedule up at 9 o'clock Monday morning.
No, of course not. It's about friendship. Would you do that to your friends?
Oh, absolutely not.
Now, at the same time, my goal is to get them onto a three-way quickly and to continue them through that process, but my next call is going to be within a day where I'm just going to call you back and chat some more. I'm not even going to mention it. Why? Because if you're really hungry, you're going to mention it to me. So I want to see if you're hungry. If you're really hungry, I'll just call you back and say, hey, Orjan, how's it going today?
Oh, it's great. Just got back home I finished up 3 hours early today. That's so exciting.
It seems like you're always delivering the mail. Every time I call you, you're just getting back.
Of course I am. I mean, that's what I'm doing. You keep calling me around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's when I'm done.
What are your plans for tonight? What are you doing?
Just gonna hang at home, nothing special. Maybe watch a football game.
Oh, I love football. It's fantastic. Who's playing?
I have no clue.
Okay, I won't say about the fact that you really don't understand football. You're just adding some.
No, I actually played football in high school in the US when I went to boarding school. I was the punter.
Oh, no way.
So I guess I'm going to see the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, absolutely. That's cool. Hey, I'd like to catch up with you again sometime. I'm going to be over in your neck of the woods in the next 48 hours. So you got time for coffee?
What are you doing over there?
I got to go over and visit one of my friends. I thought I'd drop by and check you out.
Is that about the business that I saw?
Well, yeah, it is. Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
That looked like a great thing.
Oh, you liked it, did you?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay,
that product sounded interesting.
Just so people don't think that was a pregnant pause where we got confused on this recording, I do that intentionally because I want to hear the next comment there. And I'll just stop and say, oh, you got a chance to see that. You know, everybody says the magic is, well, what did you like about what you saw?
What did you like best about what you saw?
Forget all that stuff. You know, build the friendship. So I'll just say, oh, you saw it, did you? And then you came back with the comment, yeah, it sounds great. Well, hey, listen, the next thing that I'll say in that case, as soon as I got that response, is I'll say this. What did you like the best about what you saw? You know, tell me your understanding. In 30 seconds or less, just tell me what I do for a living.
I got a bit confused though, but I do understand a couple of things. You are selling some great products, and you have the ability to build a business, and it seemed like you actually could make quite a bit of money on it. However, I don't really know how to do this yet, but you know, I'm the mailman, so I really no clue about how you do it, but it sounds great.
Well, Orjan, listen, here's what I know. I've been involved with this process, this company, for the last 5 years. And I mean, you saw, I told you about it. My family's living off this income, and we've helped a lot of people. I'd love to keep this friendship going and take it in this direction. We have a lot of fun doing the business, and I'd like to help you. All that stuff that you're talking about, I didn't know it either when I got started. In fact, I learned it as I went along. Hey, would you be interested in doing this with me? It won't take you more than a couple of hours a week, and it's a lot of fun. Is that something you're interested in doing?
Well, it's kind of on the spot, but I guess I can try the products.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, when I come over tomorrow, I'll bring some products with you. Or with me when I come over and visit. Can I do that?
Oh, great. Can you show me more about those, like there was something called a compensation plan that it's like, do we get paid like more and more and more and more product we move?
Well, that's a really neat process, and yeah, you can make money. And see, all it really is about referring people to use the product. That's where the money's generated. But I don't want to get into that now. It's a lot easier to see it. You told me you were visual. If it's okay with you, we can get into it tomorrow when I come over for a coffee.
Great, let's do that.
Do you got good coffee?
Oh, absolutely. And this is the great part. Some people might think that my role playing now is being the most positive person in the world, but it's actually not. I'm getting triggered by having good feelings, liking the conversation we can, and him pausing and letting me give my opinion. And as I say my opinion, he supports my opinion, so I'll say more of my opinion, and then he supports that. So this is a conversation about me where I just feel great. And I love this guy because my opinion is being listened to. And that's what I love about this, because you're not breaking me off, you're not trying to lead me in a direction, you're just letting me talk about what I'm interested in.
And if you notice there in that conversation we had, I did attempt to close you in the proverbial sense, you know, get you to sign up in the business. But before I did that, I actually asked you a very important question. I actually got you to explain to me what you thought the business was. And based on what you said, it told me that you had a good understanding. Because I will not sign somebody up before I believe that their understanding is there.
And that is actually a magic. I usually say there is 2 rules to communications. And that is whatever I say, Ken might have an objection to. But whatever I say is the truth.
Right.
So he asked me what I thought. And then I said what I thought, and then he asked me, would you like to do what you think is the right thing to do, Orjan? He didn't mention my name, but that's what he did.
Yep.
And at that point, I'm just, he's just asking me, what you just said, is that the truth to you?
Right.
And I have to go and say, yes, that's the truth to me.
Right, oh, absolutely. Okay, that 10-minute warning.
But this is so great, because this is just the best way of recruiting somebody or getting somebody involved that I've ever heard.
Oh, sure.
Because it's not, I didn't get involved with a business. I got involved with camp.
I got involved in a friendship. And if you remember that 5 levels of belief that we talked about a bit earlier, you could hear it in our conversation there. And even at a point I was saying, we don't have to worry so much about all the details. I didn't know them, but we could do it together. It could be a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun doing this business, and I'd like you to be a part of that, because I value your friendship.
And I guess when you come over, we'll have a home meeting or something like that, or we'll sit down and talk more about the business.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in the way you've told me. You told me you're visual, so I'm going to bring a movie with me, and we're going to have a cup of coffee, and we're going to watch the movie together. And I'm going to bring lots of pictures on the papers that I bring so that you can visualize things, and I'm going to go through the process. But now that I'm here, the door was open. I didn't have to say, and I would never say, do you mind if I show you the compensation plan now? Would you like to evaluate my opportunity? You've already gave me permission. You've invited me to your house, and you've mentioned you'd like to hear more about the comp plan. So when I get there, I'm going to be succinct. We'll start by building and chatting a little bit about our friendship, but then I'm going to say, okay, Orjan, I've got the compensation plan information here. Can we review it now?
And here's just one question, like before you arrive at my house, let's say 3-4 days later, will you already be starting to do the 3-way calling activities?
Oh, absolutely. Those 3-way calling activities have happened all the way through that process that we've just talked about. I'll 3-way gin to 5 or 6 people. When you mentioned football, I'll find somebody in my downline or upline who's a great football player, and I'll get them on the phone and we'll just chat about football.
I guess they like the Vikings too.
Absolutely they will. Even if they don't, they will.
and that's where I think this is so great, because when you arrive at my house, I'll know 3-way calling, so that won't be a difficult word that I don't know anything about. I'll have some friends in the business already that I could call if you're not available, and we're ready to get together.
You know, and I might even bring somebody else with me to your house. Yeah. And this is something you want to be careful of. I'll make sure that you don't want to surprise somebody with an unknown guest to the home. So, you know, the day before I'll call you back. Then I'll say, hey, Orjan, remember John we were on the phone with, the Vikings fan?
Yeah.
That's going to make you feel good right away?
Yeah.
I said, well, John's got some free time tomorrow too, and he's a guy I've been coaching for a while already. He's making some money, and it would be good to have John there, because he can let you know what you and I would be doing, because he's been doing it with me already. Is that of interest to you?
Oh, absolutely. That'd be great.
I will never ask permission, but I'll ask permission indirectly and say, is that of interest to you? Because if you say yes to that, you're actually giving me permission to bring the person into the house. You know, here's the big thing though, because this sometimes, what we've been talking about, may sound a little complicated, and it also may sound like it's a lot of stuff. To bring it down to the basics and the simplicity, it really is just about creating friendships. You create friendships by establishing common relationships, by establishing the things you have in common with other people. And if you're doing this, and in the process, the person's giving you the cold shoulder, well, don't worry about it. That's them telling you that they're not interested in being involved in the business with you.